Suge has mentioned this before, but people in the comments have too. So I wanted to get your take on why is it that why is it that, or what do you think about people who say that you just tell death row stories and that you should stick to just telling cop stories or stories about, when in your early days when you were a police officer?
Yeah. Well, this channel bombed first, right? Most of the people that's over here came over here for stories about death row, not Tupac. Y'all say Tupac. I remember the comments you say, oh, you always talking about Snoop. Oh, you always talking about this person. You always talking about Suge. Well, from 94 till about 2018, Reggie Wright was deeply involved in pretty much everything involving death row. I can't think of anybody else that can say they had some type of connections to death row from 94 to 2018. Anybody. K-Dub has a little longer run now because he had from the 91 to about 94, he stopped. And then he started back up with John Payne and Snoop, probably like 2010 or something like that, to presence. So maybe K-Dub. But who else been around? Because y'all say, well, how Reggie you were? Okay, let me explain. So I worked strictly security. Only security company that had a security contract with Death Row. And me, Reggie personally, was just to be around Suge whenever possible. Got a little salary. So that's up until 97. June of 1997, that position went on. 97 till 2002, Reggie Wright dealt with the day-to-day operation. Wasn't nothing involved that went down in Marion Suge Knight and Death Row life that Reggie didn't know about or Reggie didn't pretty much authorize to get done. Nothing as far as the corporation. And I can say a lot of his personal stuff too. I don't know what he was doing in that jail, but on the streets. So then I went and worked at another record company for about 2 years. But then I came back in 2004 because she got a violation taking little underage girls across state line, right? So when I did that in 2000, and you know what? I think he might even beat that. I think he got the violation really for the assault with the valet guy. I think he only did like 2 months when he did the little girls. But they mainly got him for that assault against the valet guy when Pooh Ryder did. One thing I say about Suge, he held high on that. He could have snitched and got out of that, but he did 9 months for Pooh Ryder. I'll be the first to admit that. All right. So that went on until about 2005. Left, went back doing my thing, started doing some stuff for somebody named True Dad Entertainment. 2007, Suge is going through bankruptcy. Red, man, we need to get this money, man. We both out here doing bad, and niggas out here owe us money. Let's get us a track truck, and let's go. And me and Suge going around terrorizing everybody. From L.A. Reid, got $200,000 one time out of him. Y'all done heard the story where me and Suge was pushing up on Damon Thomas and Babyface, and those niggas was wired for sound and all of that. But anyway, QD3, everybody, we just up there getting money like crazy. You know, that's why that detail situation worked out. Happened with Akon. We going around collecting money from everybody, but we living. 2009, we get a lick from Interscope and all of that, and he wanted all the money. Like, no, Suge. I'm not taking this big hit on this 200,000. I'm not taking this hit and only getting 50,000. I was like, no, fuck that, because that was a check, a legal check. So me and him falls out. That's 2009, 2010. But also the bankruptcies is tripping. And then that's when one of his baby mamas go and say, tell the bankruptcy court, oh, Reggie gave me $10,000. Well, shit, why your baby mama saying that? We in a bankruptcy. You know, now the trustees asking me, hey, y'all, you just get a $200,000 check from Interscope. What's up with this money? Or maybe it was from L.A. Reid. I forget which one it was. And I'm like, your baby mama said that? I said, that's for your son and your other son to live off of. And I go meet up with her and give her 10 G's, and now she running her mouth. But no problem. So I'm not fucking with you no more, Suge Knight. So that's for me, Lloyd Lake, all y'all say, all these niggas only talk Suge because Suge is in jail and all that. Nigga, y'all go look at this audio right here.
Mr. Knight was on top of her, beating her, was actually in the act of violently beating her when the officers arrived with the knife in his hand. Let there be no mistake, she was brutally assaulted. It's just fortunate that while this was happening, we had a citizen who saw the act occurring, called police, and that we were able to get there in a timely manner. Because had we not got there when we did, this thing very easily could have ended up tragically.
He had me call the U.S. attorney investigating death row records in him at the time. If that deal was still on the table about giving up David Kenner and Longo, if that deal was still on the table, I called the U.S. attorney for him like he requested. So I need the attorney on record to call me and express what Mr. Knight wanted to do. It was an attorney out of Las Vegas by the name of David Chesnoff. David Chesnoff was known, he a real gangster attorney. He was known for representing mafia figures, allegedly mafia figures and high profile people. And he said, Reggie, I like Suge and have a lot of respect for Suge, but one thing I don't do is represent rats.
Me and Lloyd Lake, Tata. Shit, nigga. Suge was a free man. So y'all stop that. Y'all ain't talking shit because Suge's in jail bullshit. So my whole point is, and during all that time, I forgot to tell y'all, I'm employed by E1, Koch, making 10 G's a month. Because they just want me to keep Suge away from their office pretty much and let me deal with everything. So I'm making 10 G's a month all the way to 2018. So I was a cop from 1985. Well, I was really in a jail. Didn't become a cop until 1989. Until, what's that? 1995. That's all I was a cop from. So I did, 11 years, 10 years as a cop, 11 years total is how my retirement go. So my point is, I did more time in the music business working at Death Row than I did as a cop. So because I'm a jack of all trades, I'm a Jamaican or whatever you want to call it, I can't tell my stories about Death Row. They're only Suge stories. Why you telling my dad's stories? Why you telling all these clowns be saying? Why you don't tell your police stories? I love to sit up here and talk about police stories and stuff like that. But is this the channel for that? When I went on Vlad, I talked about my upbringing and stuff like that and how I became a cop. Bomb First is not where you telling police stories at. But I would love to help educate you youngsters about what to say. There's a channel out there by my boy Miller Experience, is the name of his channel, where he's doing a great segment about what you do when you get pulled over and stuff like that. I would love to tell stories like that. But is Bomb First the channel for that? So that's why I get so offensive, and that's why when people say how you can't tell who else could tell Death Row stories? Half the shit y'all done heard. That's why Suge is so mad. If y'all keeping it real, how many of these stories have Suge told that y'all ain't heard in some way with all the hot sauce and pepper and salt that Suge like to add to shit that y'all haven't heard from Reggie Wright? Tell me one. So that's why he's disappointed. Y'all used to always ask me, why you ain't write a book? Why you ain't doing a TV series? And I used to always say back then, because those are Suge stories to tell. Not doing anything, because those are Suge stories to tell. But then Suge goes, come home. Not come home, he ain't home. But he gets on the YouTube because of Reggie, you know, when I'm talking. And he know it when I had Rick and all that talking to you about podcasts and all of that. And trying to tell you how we can get $10,000 to $12,000 a month and all of that shit. You got those conversations, you know about it. And so when we did all, you know, that's what made you feel comfortable with coming in podcasts, because you thought this YouTube and podcast shit was some bullshit. Wasn't no money in it. It ain't no money in it compared to what you was making, but it's enough to keep the lights on. It's enough to keep you from having your baby mama, your fiance or whatever, from using her ex-football player. Oh man, I'll wait till Toy say something. I'll wait on that. But you know, that profile shit that Detective Sergeant Kiddo was supposed to could have got you on. You know, if you know I'm talking about that, you know I got all that documents Toy and shit. You know, the ex-football player and his wife profile, you know. But, hey, it would have kept her from doing stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. Should be done. So, Reggie Wright can tell as many death row stories as he chooses. Because who has the right more than he do? Now, if I go start talking about 91, 92, 93, and even some parts of 94, then I totally agree with you. And prior to 1997, have I ever told any stories over here on Bomb First about music or being in the studio or being back there in the back? But you say people like Queenie and Isis and all of them couldn't go in the back, couldn't go in the studio. Sure. Why? Because they elect to come over here and do an interview with us, then they got to catch strays. But just to remind you, your pictures, here's a few pictures. Here's just a few. I can come up with tons if you need it, with Isis and Queenie in the back, in the studio. You say Tupac never talked to me?
This is for the motherfuckers that don't understand about death row. Can't get with the program, stay the fuck away.
Well, or security. Maybe you said security. Well, here's one story. Yeah, this is how Tupac came to me.
Reggie. There's Frank right there. Frank, Reggie.
When one of his homeboys about to get arrested and go to jail, who they run? Who did they call to go get him out so he wouldn't go to jail? Stop the clown act, Suge. Peace.